this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be joined by the Porch Man, and we're going to be reviewing the 2025 movie, The Smashing Machine. So, in this movie, we follow the legendary story of mixed martial artist and UFC fighter Mark Kerr, and his friendship with Mark Coleman, and his relationship with Dawn Staples, and his drug addiction. And everything is, it's kind of your typical biopic, is in some ways, without leaning too heavily into the tropes. But before I get into my part, I'm going to have Porch Man do his part and everything, since he's joining me on this review for a collab and everything. So take it away, Porch Man.
Hey, what's up, guys? The Porch Man here, the porch, and I'm here joined with another collab with my friend Robbie Parker, and we're gonna review The Smashing Machine. So I'm gonna get my part right now. From an acting standpoint, this is The Rock's best acting performance in my book. He definitely stepped out of his shell to portray this UFC fighter, and he did a great job. And Emily Blunt did good too. They had such toxic chemistry in this movie that you feel bad. You know, you really do feel bad for, in a way, both sides, both The Rock and Emily Blunt. You see what they're going through, both of them, and it's done very well on screen. And as other movies have done, I love seeing in-the-ring movies. And it was pretty cool seeing The Rock doing some martial arts. So this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It was about UFC fighter Mark Kerr, wrestler / UFC fighter, who had a bad steroid problem at one time. And I think in this movie, the steroid use is well put for his part of his life on screen. Pretty well part of the movie, I think. I thought this was a pretty good biopic. I thought the acting was well done. Thought the fighting was well done. Thought even the music was well done too. Music picked for this movie is pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and I was very much impressed. Even though it didn't make nearly enough money that people say to make it successful, I still thought it was a very well put together film, and I certainly enjoyed this one quite a damn bit. So thank you for letting me in this collab, brother. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you, brother, for letting me on. Take care.
Thank you, Porch Man. It was great to have you on here and everything. I always enjoy collabing with you and everything. So, I will say this is an absolutely amazing movie. I agree with you 100%, Porch Man. This is definitely the best performance that The Rock has given us. And everything. He's just absolutely amazing in this movie as Mark Kerr. In fact, I honestly could see him getting an Oscar nomination. I don't know if he would win or not. And everything. A24 doesn't really even try to get their actors Oscars. There's been so many actors that have deserved Oscars for A24 movies and stuff, and I feel like this is one of the ones that could break through and actually get the nomination and stuff, because Dwayne Johnson is a big enough name and stuff. But he is just absolutely amazing in this movie. He really stepped out of his comfort zone to give us easily the best performance of his career this far, and I think I'm more excited now for his career than I have been in years, because he's finally starting to take acting seriously and proving that he can be a really, really great actor too, which I always kind of figured he could do it though, and everything. I've always had this faith in The Rock ever since I was a little kid. He's just been one of my favorite stars and everything, and he was one of my favorite wrestlers. He's become one of my favorite action stars and everything, favorite actors of the last the last 20 years for sure. And everything, I followed him, his movie career from The Mummy Returns to now, and everything. And it's just amazing how far he's come as an actor, and he's just absolutely great in here. And of course, the person that we really owe his performance to, and owe the big thank you to for getting him to step out of his comfort zone, is Emily Blunt, who plays Kerr's girlfriend, Dawn Staples, and she is just absolutely great in this movie as well. She works really, really well with The Rock and everything. They have amazing chemistry and stuff together. They're really, really unexpectedly great on-screen couple and stuff. They worked really good together in Jungle Cruise a few years ago, and that movie was a lot of fun and everything. But this movie is totally different for both of them, and I think she gives just as amazing performance as he does and everything, and I think she deserves just as much credit, and I hope she gets an Oscar nomination and maybe even win. I don't know, she might deserve to win for this movie. She gives one of the best performances of the year as well in this movie. Like both of them are great. And also Ryan Bader as Mark Coleman is amazing too. I don't know anything about him really. I know he's a UFC fighter, and I don't really watch UFC fighting really. I watched WWE as a kid a little bit and stuff and everything. That's why I'm so familiar with The Rock, and I followed him for so many years. I used to watch him on WWF when I was a kid before it became WWE. So I've been a big fan of him since the 90s and everything. But I'm not really familiar with UFC. But I will say that Ryan Bader did a really great job as Mark Coleman and everything. And I love the relationships in this movie and how well they're written and everything. His relationship with Dawn is really, really well written and stuff and everything, even though they are toxic for each other and they aren't really a very good couple. And in fact, I don't think they even really worked out in real life and everything, because their relationship was so toxic and stuff. The way it was written was just really well done and everything, very realistic and stuff. And I've heard that this movie is really accurate as well. Everything, I heard that there's just maybe a couple little tiny inaccuracies, but it follows their story really well and stuff. So I will say that they did a good job with that and everything, even though it's toxic and stuff. The way it was written and acted and stuff is just really well done. But the thing that I really liked about the movie was the friendship between Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman and everything. They really have this really awesome chemistry and stuff. Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Bader, they work really, really great together and everything, and that their performances are great, and the friendship is just really believable and everything. Part of it is that the two have a natural chemistry that just works really, really well, and their friendship is really well written. It's really believable that is how their friendship would be in real life and everything. I think one of the little liberties they took in it was he was part of the inspiration for Mark Kerr to get off the drugs and stuff, and while he was part of it in real life, they did have another friend that also talked him into going to rehab and getting sobered up and stuff, so and everything. But I think the movie made the little change just to affect make their friendship more effective in the story of the movie, and I think it worked and everything. But I do think that the other guy did deserve credit too, and I wish he could have been in the movie. Vinny Safdie's directing is amazing. He does a really good job recreating moments of Mark Kerr's life and stuff and everything. That they show like clips and stuff from a documentary also called The Smashing Machine that came out in the early 2000s. And stuff, they show little clips from it throughout the end of credits and everything, and of scenes that they had recreated earlier in the movie, and it just also adds to The Rock's performance and everything, but it also adds to Vinny Safdie's directing. He did a really great job, and I haven't seen the other Safdie brother do a solo project yet. I think his movie is coming out later this year with Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, which I'm looking forward to seeing and stuff, because these guys know how to get amazing performances out of actors that you wouldn't expect. Now, Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems did not surprise me whatsoever, because he is an amazing actor outside of comedies. He's great at doing comedies and stuff, don't get me wrong, but Adam Sandler didn't really surprise me because I knew what he was capable of. But Robert Pattinson in Good Time was absolutely amazing and stuff. So I was really excited to see how they would revitalize The Rock's career, and they did a really, really great job. They easily, or Benny did a great job because he's the only one that directed this one, but he really got an amazing performance and stuff, and I can't wait to see the performance we get out of Timothée Chalamet for the other Safdie Brothers movie, everything, because I'm looking forward to that. Everything, they work really great together, and I'm really curious to see how well they do separate from each other. And so far, Benny Safdie has done excellent, though. His directing is great. And Mark Purr is a really likable guy and stuff. I've seen interviews with him and stuff. He just seems like a really nice guy, so it's very easy to root for him. You want to see him win, and when he does take his hits and stuff, you feel it and stuff, and it's just really, that's one of the things I really love about it, which a sports movie should be able to make you really feel for the main character and stuff, and this movie really does it really well. And I also will say the pacing is great. It never slows down and keeps you invested from the very start and everything. I don't feel like this movie was boring at all and everything. There was not really any moments that I didn't enjoy in this movie and everything. It's easily one of the best movies of the year and everything. And one of the things is just how organic the movie feels and everything. Now, I will say it does kind of go through the motions of a biopic. He gets on the substance and everything. And I feel like they kind of broke away from some of the cliches and try to avoid certain biopic cliches and stuff and everything. And I think it worked and everything. Like, some movies it might not have worked on, but I think it did work on this one a little bit and stuff. They didn't play too much into his UFC stuff, but they played into a lot of it. But a lot of the movie is focused on his personal life, and I think that was where the movie was the strongest and stuff. But all in all, I think this is an awesome must-see movie, especially if you're a fan of The Rock like I am. If you've been a fan since the 90s when he first started on WWF and stuff and everything, it is amazing to see how far he has come as an actor and stuff. So if you're like me and you've been following him ever since he first started and everything, you have to see this movie. Like this is a must-see for fans of The Rock and everything. If you're not a fan of The Rock, though, I would still recommend it because it really does prove that he has the acting chops and stuff. And I really can't wait to see. I hope he still does his blockbusters and his dumb fun movies that he does and everything, but I am very excited to see like the more dramatic, serious side of him that we're about to start seeing a lot more of and everything. I think it's a shame that this movie flopped and everything. It just irritates me so bad that a soulless cash grab like the Lilo and Stitch remake can make $1 billion, but a movie like this can't even break even and stuff. It's just so irritating and everything. But this movie is definitely worth checking out. I would highly, highly recommend it and everything. So if you haven't seen The Smashing Machine, I definitely would say go out and see. Even if you're not really into UFC, you don't really have to be in it to enjoy the movie and enjoy the performances and stuff and everything. So I definitely would recommend it and stuff, and I hope to see this movie be a big winner at the Oscars. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of The Smashing Machine, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
Yeah.